Welcome to our U.S. briefing program. Today, we dive into some of the most pressing news stories making headlines around the world. First up, former President Donald Trump has announced the successful operation that led to the elimination of a senior ISIS leader in Iraq, a significant move in the fight against terrorism. This airstrike, which took place in Anbar province, was confirmed in collaboration with the U.S.-led coalition and comes at a crucial time as discussions about joint efforts against ISIS are underway. In another story, China is making waves with a bold financial strategy that could see a staggering $1 trillion in foreign exchange reserves allocated to Hong Kong. This move aims to bolster the city's financial markets and enhance China's economic standing amid rising geopolitical tensions. Experts are buzzing about how this could reshape the financial landscape, potentially injecting billions into local markets and stabilizing the Hong Kong dollar. Lastly, we have a controversial incident involving an American influencer who faced severe backlash after snatching a baby wombat from its mother. The influencer's actions were deemed illegal under Australian law, and despite her apologies, the incident has sparked widespread outrage, leading to calls for greater respect for native wildlife. Tune in to hear more about these stories and their implications. Australian Broadcasting Corporation, in a significant blow to the Islamic State, ISIS, Iraq's Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani announced the death of Abdullah Maki Musli al-Rufai, a senior ISIS leader responsible for foreign operations. Al-Rufai, also known as Abu Khadija, was deemed one of the most dangerous terrorists globally and served as the group's deputy caliph. His demise was confirmed following a coordinated operation by Iraqi intelligence and the US-led coalition, conducted via an airstrike in the Anbar province. This operation not only marks a victory for Iraqi forces, who have been battling the remnants of ISIS since its territorial defeat in 2017, but it also highlights ongoing concerns about the resurgence of the group, particularly in light of the recent political turmoil in Syria. The announcement coincided with a visit from Syria's top diplomat, emphasizing the necessity for regional cooperation to combat ISIS. South China Morning Post: the complex relationship between Australia and its allies is under scrutiny as China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi criticized the Trump administration's aggressive foreign policies. Australia finds itself at a crossroads, grappling with its strategic alliances with the US, particularly the AUKUS and ANZUS agreements, which aim to defend democracy amidst rising tensions with China. Wang's remarks suggest that Australia may need to reassess its alignment with the US if Trump's administration continues its isolationist and imperialist approach. The recent Chinese live-fire drills near Australia are interpreted as a show of strength, hinting at China's desire for Australia to navigate its foreign policy independently while maintaining trade relations. This evolving dynamic poses a significant challenge for Australia as it attempts to balance its commitments to the US with its economic interests in China. Associated Press: the chilling audio of a 911 call from the day 4 University of Idaho students were brutally murdered reveals the panic and confusion experienced by the callers. The call, made by a distressed woman, highlights the alarming moment when they discovered one of their friends unresponsive after a night of partying. The frantic exchanges, punctuated by cries for help and the mention of a mysterious man seen in the house, paint a harrowing picture of the chaos that ensued. As police arrived on the scene, the gravity of the situation became clear, leading to the arrest of Brian Kohberger, who faces multiple murder charges. With his trial set to begin in August, the case continues to captivate and horrify the community, raising questions about safety and the impact of such violent crimes on college campuses. South China Morning Post reports on China's strategic financial maneuvering with its foreign exchange reserves, particularly through the Safe Investment Company in Hong Kong. This fund, established just before the 1997 handover of Hong Kong, manages a substantial portion of China's $3.227 trillion reserves. Recent statements from the People's Bank of China suggest a significant increase in the allocation of these reserves to Hong Kong, potentially tripling the current figure. Economists predict that such a move could inject up to $400 billion into Hong Kong's financial markets, bolstering liquidity and investor confidence. The backdrop of escalating geopolitical tensions, particularly with the US, underscores the importance of diversifying China's investments away from US treasuries, making Hong Kong an attractive alternative. In another report by South China Morning Post, President Vladimir Putin has urged Ukrainian troops in the Kursk region to surrender, promising them safety and dignified treatment. This call comes amid a renewed Russian offensive that has seen significant territorial gains, raising concerns for Ukraine's bargaining position in ongoing peace talks. US President Donald Trump has echoed these sentiments, advocating for the preservation of Ukrainian lives and emphasizing the urgency of a ceasefire. However, Ukraine's leadership remains skeptical of Russia's intentions, accusing Putin of undermining diplomatic efforts. The situation in Kursk is critical, as both sides prepare for potential negotiations while facing mounting international pressure for a ceasefire. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation covers the controversy surrounding American influencer Sam Jones, who faced backlash after a video surfaced showing her taking a baby wombat from its mother. Jones claimed she acted out of concern for the animal's safety, intending to move it from a roadside. However, her actions were met with widespread criticism, including from Australian officials. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese condemned the incident, highlighting the need to respect wildlife. Jones later apologized, acknowledging her poor judgment and facing threats online. The incident raises questions about wildlife protection laws in Australia, as experts emphasize the legal restrictions against handling native animals without proper permits. South China Morning Post reports that as the United States pressures Japan to increase its financial contribution to the hosting of American troops, concerns are rising among the Japanese populace regarding the reliability of American support in times of crisis. George Glass, the U.S. ambassador nominee to Japan, has reiterated demands for Japan to boost its defense spending, suggesting that the current $1.4 billion annual payment is insufficient in light of China's growing military capabilities. Critics in Japan are wary, questioning the sincerity of American commitments to their security, especially given President Trump's past threats and criticisms of alliances. This has sparked a national debate on Japan's defense strategy and its reliance on the U.S., with many citizens advocating for a more self-reliant approach to national security. The conversation has shifted towards whether Japan should stand firm against what some perceive as an endless cycle of demands from the U.S. Australian Broadcasting Corporation highlights a call for urgent reform in the Northern Territory's criminal justice system, where imprisonment rates are alarmingly high, particularly among Aboriginal populations. Judge Jenny Blockland has emphasized that the current punitive approach is failing to deter crime and is instead perpetuating a cycle of reoffending. Drawing lessons from the Netherlands, where innovative justice practices have led to decreased crime and incarceration rates, she advocates for alternative penalties and community-based rehabilitation. With a staggering 90% of adult prisoners being Aboriginal, systemic racism within the justice system has come under scrutiny, prompting calls for a more equitable approach that addresses the root causes of crime. Experts argue that investing in community support and rehabilitation could yield better outcomes than the current focus on incarceration, urging the government to rethink its strategies and prioritize effective, evidence-based solutions. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Morning coffee, fresh off the press. Reading headlines, feeling blessed. World keeps turning, stories unfold. Every moment news gets told. Flipping channels, clicking tabs. Feeding my mind's hunger grabs. Facts and figures, images bright. News keeps rolling day and night. Headlines and to know. Never stopping, always go. Scrolling, swiping, reading on. Daylight breaks into dawn. Headlines and headlines, can't get enough.